Hi guys, my name is Bill, and in this video I'm going to show you how to troubleshoot the cold control or the thermostat control in your Whirlpool side-by-side refrigerator. Now, two of the major problems that you'll have if this part fails is either everything inside the refrigerator compartment is going to freeze, or the entire refrigerator is going to stop getting cold, completely. So I'm going to show you how it works, and that's going to help you in the troubleshooting process. Okay, so here's where the thermostat cold control is located, behind the refrigerator temperature control knob. There is no thermostat control behind the freezer. It just controls the damper opening and either allows more cold air to come over if you turn it to warmer, or lets a little bit less cold air come over if you turn it to cold. But for the refrigerator thermostat control, if you turn this all the way to the left, it opens up the contacts between the two pins on the thermostat, and it will not allow the compressor or the evaporator fan to run. Now if you put this on one, of course it's only going to take a little bit of cold to open up the contacts and shut the compressor and the fan off. And the farther right you turn this, it's going to take a lot more cold air and a lot lower temperature inside the refrigerator compartment to open up the contacts and cut the compressor and the evaporator fan off. Most of the time, when these are set on factory settings, that should bring your refrigerator temperature in the neighborhood of 36 to 38 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's how that works. Okay, so what we're looking at here is a cold control. It's very similar to the one that's on the refrigerator. Now right now, the dial is all the way in the left position, so the refrigerator would be off. And you can see we have an OL reading on our meter, which means the contacts between these two pins are open. So when I turn this on, you can see we get a 0.1 reading. That means the contacts inside the cold control here are closed, and it's telling the compressor and the fan that they should be running. Okay, so we're looking at the cold control again here, and this little wire that comes off is filled with Freon. I think that's what it is. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comment section, but what happens is, one of the problems that you'll have is that this develops a hole, and whatever's inside the Freon or whatnot, when it leaks out, the pressure inside here can't decrease as the temperature goes down. So then it cannot allow the contacts to open up when it reaches the correct temperature. So if your issue is with everything freezing inside the refrigerator compartment, then the problem is, of course this is going to need replaced, but the contacts are staying closed and they're not able to open up because of a Freon issue inside this little tube. Now the other problem that you might have are the actual contacts themselves. If the contacts become carboned up or corroded or burned off or whatever happens, then even though the pressure inside here is say too warm and it's forcing the contacts closed, they're not actually touching, so the refrigerator won't come on at all, and the freezer and the refrigerator will start getting warm. And one more issue that I've heard people say about in the comments, and I've run into it a couple of times doing service, is if you just touch it or tap on it and then the machine comes on. So if it was starting to get warm and you went to adjust the temperature, then it kicked on, well, this is on its last leg and is going to need replaced. So right there's a couple of the major problems that you will have with your thermostat control. Either one's going to pretty much require you to replace it. So let me show you how to take it off on this machine. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and remove this little plastic cover. It hides the bar that moves the damper opening, and it also hides the thermostat control wire. So once we get that out of the way, we can remove the damper cover. It just has one screw that holds it in place. So we'll go ahead and get that screw taken out, and we just pull the cover right off. And now we can take the thermostat temperature wire, probe, whatever you want to call it, and we can just snap that out of the front of the damper. Next thing we're going to do is go ahead and remove the knobs off the front so we can go ahead and get access to the thermostat cold control. So we're just going to pry this little faceplate up. And behind it there's two screws. Go ahead and take those out. And there's 2 more screws that go up and attach it to the ceiling of the refrigerator compartment. You might have to stick your head inside the refrigerator like I did to find where the screws are. And now that we got those out, the whole control panel assembly there will just drop down. Right now I'm pulling the ground wire off the thermostat. Then I'm using a flathead screwdriver to go ahead and pry the wires off of the control. Using a flathead screwdriver is probably the easiest way to get those off. And now we're just going to move some wires out of the way. Now the 2 screws that hold the thermostat to the bracket you can't get to from the front. There's no way to get your screwdriver in there, so we'll have to take the bracket loose so we can lift that up and get those screws out. And those are the 2 Phillips head screws that are on the bottom here. And we'll just go ahead and take those out. I probably could have shortened this up a little bit, but you get to watch it in real time. And nope, it's still attached. I got 1 more screw to take out. And we'll just go ahead and get this last screw taken out of the bottom of that bracket there. And once that's out, the whole thermostat control and the bracket should lift right up. And now we can get to the 2 1/4-inch screws that are holding it to that bracket. And we'll just go ahead and take those screws out. And now that you got the 2 screws out of the bracket, you'll be able to lift the thermostat control up. And there's 1 little retaining clip that holds it in place, so just pop it right out of there. And carefully just fish it out from around the side of the control housing. Right here it got a little twisted around the little bar that goes back and opens up and closes the damper. And it got hooked on some wires. And now it's out. Okay guys, so one more thing I want to go over before you put the new thermostat in is make sure you keep it in the shape or very close to the shape that it was in when you took it out. That way when you get the new one, you can bend it in a very similar shape. That way it kind of just falls back in place when you stick it in. And one other thing I want to show you on the new thermostat, or even an old one that you're looking at, is I'm going to let this focus in on the front of this real quick, if it decides to. And if you look on the front of this thermostat, you're going to see where there's a little hole and it says colder. That's a little set screw adjustment. There is no good reason for you to ever stick a flathead screwdriver inside there and adjust it. I don't think I've ever done it. They're either good and they work just fine, or they're completely defective and you just replace it. I think these are preset from the factory, so don't get inside there and start messing around with a little screw, or you're just going to end up with issues with your new thermostat. So with that being said, keep your screwdriver out of the little hole and don't adjust it. Okay guys, I want to thank you for watching my video on how to troubleshoot the thermostat or cool control on the Whirlpool side-by-side refrigerator. I'm going to go ahead and put some links in the description so you have a place to order parts, and that's also going to help support the channel. So if you have some things you want to buy on Amazon, visit the link in the description and do some shopping. Also, if you like the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. That also helps the channel out. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and do that now. That's always appreciated. Leave some comments for me to read down below. I read every single one, even though I don't have time to respond to all of them. But I do read them, and I do enjoy the kind words that a lot of you put down there, you know, and it makes me very happy to know that I do help a lot of people repair their own appliances at very minimum cost. And that's mainly the reason why I do this. So again, I want to thank you guys for watching, and good luck with your repair.